Well, actually, only when like film festivals show some of my older films do I get to watch my own. I never watch my older work in my private life, and sometimes when I rewatch my films on occasions like that, I really am surprised by how terrible it is. He's saying, like sometimes the violence. I'm like, oh my God, that's terrible. That's too much. But it's a great opportunity to get to have an encounter with your old self. すごいじゃないですか。
そうですね。ただそれはね。
Well, you know, the violence in the film is dictated by the characters to begin with, and in this film you have a protagonist, Manji, and the people who try to overcome him. And I think if he had been maybe a weaker person, Manji, that is, maybe we could have done the film with half of the number of enemies could have been half of what you saw on screen. But you know, even us who were making the film felt that it was going to be more interesting if there were more opponents, and so that's how it turned out.
Maybe Toroma.
Yeah, maybe.
Toroma.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Every year.
でしょうね。毎年やってますもんね。
カンヌで騒がしいのは彼らだけだよね。
They're probably the noisiest.
Yeah, for sure.
In Cannes.
As they should be.
まあそれがトロマらしいですよね。Shall we wait or?
Maybe. Although it may take them. Oh, no, I guess I can see them. Yeah, maybe.
ちょっと待ちます。
Thank you.
Don't they realize what they're doing? So silly. So extremely silly.
Shall we?
We can see the track. Is it right? Okay.
Great.
Okay.
昔ロイド・カウフマンに褒められたことがある。
Oh, he's like the Lloyd Kaufman has some great words that he shared with me, saying,
お前は俺たちの仲間だ。
"You're one of us," he said.
Definitely same spirit. Yeah.
その精神性は共通しているように思います。
すごく嬉しかった。
And I really love those words.
They're wonderful. Wonderful.
Well, I think for Manji, the main character, it's kind of ironic because he is very gentle as well, and his feelings for Rin, the girl that he wants to protect, is very much that of love. It's not romantic love at all. It's he sees him as a reincarnation of his younger sister that he has lost, which was the reason why he became immortal. But what we see in the film is of course one small chapter of Manji, because he's immortal, of his very long life. And I think as he repeats these encounters and partings, that you probably start to change. It's interesting to note that there's another character with immortality in the film that he has to face as an opponent who has lived longer than Manji. Character's name is Shizuma, and as he says in the film, he had to say goodbye to 5 wives and many of the friends he has met, and he is a very solitary existence. For Manji, he probably shares that too, and he has to keep on fighting as long as he lives. But of course, there might be, because of the change of the times we live in, he wouldn't be able to fight in the way he had been doing anymore. Obviously, if he keeps on doing what he does now in modern times, he's going to be just a serial killer. But it's interesting to note that by having immortality, the sort of the changing of time is accelerated, if you will, and to a certain extent, because you are immortal, you are to a certain extent kind of defined by the period you live in too, and I find that's interesting.
自分のものを注入する。
Well, actually, when I adapt to somebody else's material, I don't try to make it my own or imbue it with something that I have. I think it's important to truly respect the source material and the author, and to make a film that when they see it, they would not regret having given us the adaptation rights or the film rights. I think that's the first job as a film director, taking on a adaptation. In other words, you have to become a true fan of the source material, and if you do, everything you do stems from true love for the author and the material. So it gives you freedom to really do or try anything based on that love. And I think all the adaptations that you mentioned that I've done, I don't think I've deeply disappointed the author so far. You know, we watched the film together in a screening, and it must be very strange for them. Like for this one, it's a manga adaptation, so you know, the author is a manga artist. To suddenly see the world that he created in live action on the screen must be very strange, and I'm sure there are things that they had perhaps wished for that we couldn't do. But I think it's most important to, you know, even with that, those feelings included, to make something truly out of love and respect.
そうですね。でも差別化っていうのは、
Well, actually, the characters are so different to begin with. You know, the weapons that they use are very different, especially the characters who belong to the Ito school, who Maji has to fight. And it's interesting because the last showdown, shall we say, Maji has to fight multiple samurai, and they in a way don't have strong characteristics because they live by the code of the samurai, and the weapon that they use is a Japanese katana, and style is important to them. I guess this is giving away the film a little bit, but at that point Manji has to join forces with the enemy at the time, to fight in their own ways, to overcome that samurai first, and then of course at the end there's a big confrontation between him and the enemy or opponent, shall we say. So going back to what you were asking, the differentiation was already there, and I think that if we were too conscious of it, and maybe we should have made given them more, made them more different. But I think if we were too conscious of that, it would have been unnatural. And so I really feel like the characters defined what we needed to do, or in terms of differentiation as well, and we just basically respected the characters.